Yes. Yeah, good day everyone. Today we are talking about various titles of properties. They call them root titles in real estate, basically. Now, in real estate, I am sure you must have heard about COFO, which is Certificate of Occupancy, Governor Consent. Then, of course, there are other ones that some of us have not heard about. And some of us have heard about them maybe faintly, but they are not that popular and common, like the deed of conveyance. Okay, now the deed of conveyance was one of the titles they used to use before the independence of Nigeria. Now, after Nigerian independence and the Land Use Act of 1978 and all that, the deed of conveyance was no longer popular. Now, currently we have the COFO, we have governor consent, we have accession. Accession basically is not a proper title. It is just an indication that a portion of land has been excised for private individual use. Now, today we just want to talk about this distinction between title documents and things that are not title documents. Now, for title document, like I said earlier on, we have deed of conveyance. It's an old title, but it's still relevant to today. There are some part of Lagos now where the land, the building there only have deed of conveyance because the owners have procured them long ago before the promulgation of the Land Use Act. Now, after the Land Use Act, we now have the Certificate of Occupancy, that is COFO. This Certificate of Occupancy is what people consider to be the most important title document for any piece of property. Now, as far as title COFO is concerned, it's like an academic certificate which is not transferable to anybody. If you buy a land from someone whose land has COFO, he can only give you a copy of it to go and process your own title. And of course, you are not going to process COFO on that land. It simply means that the COFO is not transferable. It's only going to show you that, okay, this particular land has COFO on it. Now, when it gives you a photocopy with all that document you are going to attach to it, you'll be able to process what we call governor consent. Because after the Land Use Act, the control of land in any state has been, the ownership and the control of land in any state has been transferred to the governor of that state. So anyone who is the governor of the state at a given time has absolute right over the whole state, the land in the whole state, what to do with the land in the whole state. As a matter of fact, the governor has absolute control over the land. The governor can decide to use a piece of land for public use. He can decide to give it out to individual, excise it to individual for private use. So that's what the Land Use Act does for governors. Now we have that COFO. So every land that has COFO, Jesus. Now every land that has COFO, it means that. So for every land that has COFO, it is a known fact that that COFO cannot be transferred to anybody. It belongs to the original owner of that land. Then when a land has COFO, it means that that person is the original occupier of that land. I mean, it means that that person is the one that first processed that document on that land. It is possible that you buy a piece of property from the family or from the original owner, and the original owner might not even have any document backing it up. Okay, so when you take over such a land, you are free to go and process the COFO on it. So the COFO belongs to you and it is not transferable. Now, at the point where you transfer the land to somebody else through cash transaction, the normal buying and selling transaction, the person can only go ahead and process what we call governor consent, which means that the governor is now aware that the ownership of that land has been transferred from that person to this new buyer. So the new buyer can only process governor consent. Governor consent is also a good title, but it just simply means that you are not the first occupier of that land. You are not the original owner of that land. The land has been bought from the original owner. So you have that governor consent as the title as well. So governor consent, COFO, they're almost at par. It's only that the COFO belongs to the original, the first occupier of that land, the first person to process title on that land, while governor consent shows that you have bought that land from the original owner. Then as far as accession and non-accession is concerned, accession is not a title. It is just an indication that this portion of land has been excised, has been cut off from the total land of a particular state to this individual for private use. And the thing is this: if a land is not under governor, if a land is not meant for public use, if governor does not have interest in a piece of land, it is then they can allow that land to be excised for individual use. But once a piece of land has been marked out for public use, maybe like there were a railway is going to pass through the place, there are going to be public institutions like hospital, police station, anything that is meant for the public. If that land is earmarked for public use, then you will not be able to process that excision. The government, the state will not even allow you to process, because from the beginning they will tell you that this portion of land is already earmarked for public use. And how do you get to know that? It's only when you go to the Ministry of Land and Housing. It is there you can see the gazette of the state. It is there they can tell you, okay, this land, don't bother, is meant for public use. It cannot be excised. So excuse me, excision, proposed excision, they are just indicators. Okay, this land has a mark for private use. Oh, this land is not meant for private use. So when you hear about proposed excision means that the person in charge of that land has applied for excision of the land. So it's still at the Ministry of Land and Housing, and the people there are still looking for when the governor and the team in charge will be able to sit down and decide whether to excise this land or not. So excision is not a root title. It's just an indication that the land has been earmarked for private use, excise cut off for private use. But proposed excision still means that particular the land is under that process of being excised, and the government may decide to excise, the government may decide not to excise. But the government definitely will not excise the land if that portion of land is meant for public use, and they will not even be able to file for its decision. But when a piece of land is not meant for public use, then it takes a period of time for the governor and the team in charge to decide whether to excise this land or to still hold it for future reference. Thank you. Right, I missed this video. Let me see.